Morning, people. Afternoon, people. Evening, people. I'm so sorry. So sorry. My deepest apologies. I did not mean to oversleep. I took some medication, and that was it. Um, won't happen again. I promise you that.
And it's unusual for Marlon. That's why I was texting him. I was like, "Hey, what is going on?"
So
Because
my bad.
it's not his norm. He doesn't
My bad.
normally do stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I knew
Yeah.
something was up. I didn't know exactly what, but I knew something was up.
Yeah. So my apologies. Starting next week, we'll have a new look, and we'll have a bigger crowd next week. By the way, guys.
Oh, okay.
Um, we're gonna eventually join Fair Media. Set up with Corey.
Cool.
So we have a larger base to talk about stuff with, because right now, um, Fair Media doesn't have a political stance, and I think we would be a really good dynamic trio. Um, again, I know people say I shouldn't apologize, but you have no idea what being late does to my body chemistry. When I tell you my body hates being late, I popped out of sleep because my body clock was telling me, bro, it beat NyQuil. Okay, my body beat NyQuil because it hits being late that much. So
What
I'm
is it?
here.
Is it
It's a
the
pretty good mechanic.
is it the the thing?
Hmm? What thing? No, it's not that. No,
Oh, okay.
we
Yeah,
had
we don't
a
like it.
we had a massive thaw up here.
Oh, okay.
Like we had feet of snow, and then it was in days. It was
Hmm.
so whatever was in there, spores and all that stuff, just went. So I got whatever the transition point was. I was just went from. So that's what.
So it's
Um,
not sickness more so than
I think it
allergies.
is. I think it's a cold, but like not like bad. But it's been so long since I have. It's been so long since I've been sick. My body was just getting smacked by it. So my apologies again. Won't happen ever again. Promise you that.
Yeah, that happens to us men though. We don't
Ever.
get sick that much, and when we do, we get really sick,
Yeah.
really bad.
It's just out of left field, and my body says, you know what? And it could be that my body just says I needed a rest, and so it took a rest.
It's good.
It decided, you know, bro, you don't want to rest me. I'm done. Forget you. So we're gonna kick off. Gonna kick it off with something very important, guys. When you hear this, if you happen, I know most people have, but I don't know if Jay Lee probably has, Bro Kitch probably has. Um, let me see if I can get this working correctly. Good. Okay, it is. When you see this and you hear this, you can decide whether it's real or not. Okay, I'm not telling you you have to believe it. I'm just telling you it could possibly be real. And if it is real, he's in trouble, or he's just got balls of steel. Okay, you ready for this? Here we go.
Hey, pal, it's Dad. Look, I don't think they're going to get off my ass about these documents, and I know that there's at least, I want to say, five more places that I can remember that they are. Listen, use the red cell phone. Call up Barack and Michelle. Tell them Operation Crash and Burn is a go. Do this immediately, please. All right, love you, pal.
All right. Now you decide: is that real? That's the question. Did you hear it?
Operation Crash and Burn.
Operation
Op-
Crash and Burn.
mm.
Now I still can't remember. Figure out what he says: red cell phone or rent cell phone, because he had been getting paid by Hunter for rent at this house, about 50K a month. divulge.
Mhm.
But Hunter had been paying him Mooney upon Mooney upon Mooney.
Well, yeah, because he's the big
So,
man, right?
yeah.
Oh yeah, he's the big man. That's been proven already. Sorry, I
So,
had to walk away. My cat is like really sick, so I'm
your
checking
cat?
on her. Yeah.
You got a sick cat too?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my.
Got to make sure she don't just then
I
I'll be
didn't-
heartbroken.
I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't give her anything. Okay.
No, that's why I'm always constantly up because I hear her a little bit, and now she's gotten to the point to where she can't even meow anymore. So she's riding it out, man. That's why I'm constantly checking on her.
Oh no. Sorry, man.
Uh-uh.
So if this is real, okay, let's ask the question. If it's real, what does that mean for us voting going forward? If a president of the United States can call up a kid of his to destroy governmental documents, or at least a former political friend in the former president to destroy government paperwork, or even if it is to try and hide them further. What does that really mean for us if he can do that?
That means that everything that's been said about politics is true about how, these politicians have legacies and they bring their family into it to help control this crime regime that they like to run. It's the same thing as the mafia. The mafia keeps everything in the family. So does politicians. And if you notice, like with Joe Biden and Hunter, doesn't matter what comes out about Hunter. They're always going to protect Hunter. That's some mafia stuff. That's some mob boss stuff. So you can just see going forward that unless we get the right person in there, and I'm not going to say it's like the Don, I'm not going to 100% say that, but I will say you need the right person in there that doesn't have any family that they can tie anything to. You need a single guy like me. I'll run for president.
At this point, I would say write yourself in and get all your friends to vote for you.
Yeah. Be like, I don't have anybody. I don't have millions of dollars or billions of dollars. I don't have money laundering. I don't have none of that. I care about America. That's it. And the minute you get a president that only cares about America, not the money and not the corruption, you'll never see anything changing going forward.
Like the last guy.
Mm-hmm.
But see, at the same time, I also
And you
think
think
that
that'll happen? Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, but it's not that we need a president or a leader that cares about America. It was that we need to completely reform the entire political spectrum to be individuals that care about America. So it's like, because we saw it with the last election, like a whole slew of these establishment rejects who've been there decades within a political career that it gets her tenured, and so you're guaranteed pay, and that pay continues to grow annually. And if you have stuff like that, you get lazy, and it becomes about the money at that point. And then when it does, you have politicians that don't care about the interests of the people they're supposed to represent. And then
and that goes within like any industry, right? It's not just politics. You think about any industry out there. When it comes to money, they really don't give a shit about what their constituents have to say or how they feel about anything. As long as they're getting paid, that's all they care about. And that's what Jay was talking about. We have to get rid of that money in politics for one, that corruption for two, and for three, we have to, I think term limits. In a minute you can't serve anymore, that's it. And once you can't serve anymore, you have no say so in what goes on. You know how a president can come out and say, oh, I believe this or I believe that. Nope. Once your time is up, you have nothing.
Yeah.
You have no say so, but they still give these dudes a platform. And same with these corrupt politicians who aren't in office anymore. They continue to give them a platform even though they're out. So they're always going to be in our face. They're always going to be there, so we just got to figure that out. Figure that shit out. That's going to be the hard part.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a question. If you were young and healthy, would you go into the military today?
If I
Knowing
was
what you
young and healthy, would I go into the military? Yes, I would. Just for the simple fact, well, I'm speaking from a biased standpoint because I really enjoyed the military, though it sucked at times, and I understood, a lot of stuff that was going down. I didn't understand at the time, and I understood more when I got out. So at the time I was doing it, I didn't really care, But would I do it again? Yeah.
In today's military?
In today's military,
That's the
Knowing
big
what you
question,
know.
I think, is in today's military.
no. This is why I think the military started pushing out a lot of us, global war on terrorism vets, as Gen Xers. We started to get pushed out because they knew how he was. So, let them do what they got to do. And I have a lot of friends that are in still. They're sergeant majors, lieutenant colonels, they're up there and they seem pretty happy. Or they're just not saying anything. So.
That could be too. They're not saying anything.
Yeah, they're just not saying anything. I think they're just riding their time out, man. They just want to get done. They're at 20 plus years, most of them, and they're just like, I have nothing to say. But that's how you get when you get over 19 years, man. 20 years. I was at almost 22 years when I got out, and I was at the point where I was just like,
you were 22 years invested?
I was at almost 22 years invested when I got out. So I was 21 in like 9 months.
That's a lot.
Yeah, 22 years invested. So you got to imagine, like, my mindset at that point, I'm not trying to change anything. I'm not trying to fight. I'm just, give me my pension. Let me ride out. Let me go off in the sunset.
Let me pull my Rambo 5.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. The classified documents that were found, old office, in home, in garage, next to the so-called locked Corvette that he kept driving around, if he can drive. He himself called Trump irresponsible for keeping government documents in a locked box, in a locked room, in a locked facility. We had it raided. We had all sorts of ridiculous behavior surrounding Trump's, like him or not. We're talking about fairness here, okay? Like it or not. Trump's home, wife's bedrooms, son's bedroom. You have a coked out crackhead of a son that has there's video of him weighing crack, for goodness sakes, okay? And with prostitutes. He was involved in all kinds of shady deals overseas while his father was still in power, and no raids. And if this call is true, a phone call that tells people to hide stuff, and he's still just free.
And they're still trying to deny it. They're trying to say, oh, there's a possibility that someone could have planted something.
Planted it there. Like who?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go with that. Someone planted it there. How did they get into your home, Biden? If you say it's so secure, it's in your garage. Your garage is sure. It's secure, right? So if someone could get into your garage to plant evidence, what would make it difficult for them to get into your house and remove evidence if it's that secure?
Let's
go with
anything.
I'll go with that. I'll agree with you that you had it locked in your home and someone planted it there. If it can be planted, it can be removed.
Yep.
And I think for the majority of Americans, I would hope we are sitting back baffled, but I think for some of us, we are not that baffled. We are not baffled at all. We understand that this is exactly how they operate, and they're doing it in your face because they know you can't do anything about it. Or at least, you won't do anything about it.
And that's where I think the semblance of freedom now is a farce, in my opinion, because it's not that a nation has laws. Are those laws applied equally? And as we know, it's not.
Yeah. So, my buddy and I, so you guys all know I do another podcast. So and it's a military veteran oriented podcast. And we actually talked about this. And we talked about there's this little thing like, so whenever we go out on any type of mission, whenever in sector or anything, you have to encrypt your radios, right? So there's this little thing that I forget what it's called, but it's a little box, and you plug it into your radio. What it does is it encrypts your radio so that whoever's trying to listen that's not coalition forces can't listen to your radios. You know what would happen to you if you lost that thing?
Court martial.
Jail time. Yeah, court martial. That little box, that little thing with all the encryptions on it that change every few days. So they change every few days. You would go to jail if you lost that. Just some private who's in charge of it. Just some radio operator. My radio operator handles that stuff as a platoon sergeant. So I would never handle it. My radio operator would handle it. He would have to have a secret clearance in order to handle that stuff. So if he lost it, he knew the consequences behind losing that. And that's in a combat zone. So this guy just has willy-nilly classified documents in his fucking garage in fucking Delaware.
And in his old workplace.
Yeah,
Okay,
they're
what
like,
is it doing in your old workplace?
We don't care. Next to his Corvette.
Yeah.
He kept talking about his Corvette. I'm just like,
It's how snidely he talked about it too. Like he was
Yeah.
just like, "Oh, it was next to my Corvette. My Corvette was locked up, by the way. Don't you worry about my Corvette. Like anybody talking about your Corvette, you old fart. We're talking about the fact that you have stuff that you're supposed to have, even if it was secure. You as a vice president are not supposed to have it.
that's right.
Period. That's
And
a presidential thing.
automatically with this, I mean, they try to talk about Trump and his documents, but his documents were cleared from the National Archives. And then they
there's no
reclassified.
equivalency. There's no equivalency
Yeah.
to it.
None.
That's
None.
right. Big
None.
difference.
So now that we have, well, let me watch how I say that. We have a guy named Kevin McCarthy in the speaker position.
Yeah.
And he undid one thing. Who's that? He's like them old people in church that don't know how to shut off their ringtone.
I know. I'm just like, I don't know why it did that. I have
He's like-
no freaking idea. Looking at your phone and shit like,
Like them old people that don't know how to hang up the phone when the preacher's talking and everyone stops and looks.
hey,
at
why
them
do
like,
old people always hang up their phone like this too? When they get off the phone, they like,
like you just did?
yeah, but
You,
I do
you
it
have
like
arrived,
this.
bro. You have arrived.
Hey,
Yeah.
Get out of here. Let me turn this shit off.
I know you were older than me, but dang, that's
Somebody is, I don't know, man. We started talking about Biden and my phone started doing this
you
shit.
better
for
you better be
real.
careful. They're trying to tell you, hey, don't talk about my boy.
Your FBI on call right now.
You know the funny thing is that 90% of the audience went right back to their childhood.
Yeah. That's right.
They saw some granny in the corner with their phone. Oh, hold on, I get their person to hold up this big book and thing, and they're reaching in their purse to get to the phone, and they flip open the phone, and they okay, sorry, and they
Or
still don't
whenever
turn
an
down the
old person
volume.
wants to film you, they're always like,
Looking at it through the he's still and they're still doing it.
we just do it like this, like, click, 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 click,
That is too
boom.
funny.
They're like,
That is
I'm
rich.
filming you
That
too.
is rich. That is rich.
But yeah, back to what we were talking about.
Yeah, if I could remember now, that was hilarious.
Yeah, that
Um,
was. You
okay.
were talking about. You brought it up. That was hilarious.
Hey,
You brought
it's
it
when
up.
the rings started happening. It interrupted me.
I just
right?
fed on it.
Broke my trend of thought. So you have, for the majority of Americans, can see through it, but there are some that will not see it. You have a document dump of as a vice president that you're not supposed to have, only the president. You are running damage control. There is no reason to believe that the 5 more that he's talking about is fake. None. There's no reason to believe that they're not real.
Mhm.
If there is 5 more, what then? If there is 5 more locations, 5 more locations, not 5 more documents, 5 more locations with documents. You split up, and I said this before. I tell you that if there are 5 locations, you have 5 more places where documents can be, and none of them are secure. If you have like 2 or 3 documents, I think they're all related to Ukraine. I have a suspicion that they're related to either Ukraine or to China. And they have something to do with his dealings there, his son's dealings there, or both of them, including his brother. That's what I believe.
Would not put it past you.
Why else would you have what type of classified information would Biden need to keep as vice president from Barack's years? Unless it's Iraq related. It might be Iraq. Remember that 400 million that Barack flew over to Iraq?
Iraq or Iran?
Was it Iran? Yes. Remember how much he flew over there?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Could those documents be that? Because we haven't heard jack about what they're about.
No.
And if Barack kept them, you don't want Barack to keep that. Hand them over to Biden. Keep them out of the way. He did say to call Barack and Michael.
Mm-hmm.
He did say to call the two, the couple. Did you hear what I said there, Barack?
No.
I said I wonder if some of the documents, if there are 5 more locations, if it might be related to either Ukraine, China, or Iran. I think Iran lately because of the 400 million that Barack dumped over there.
Yeah, not so much. Iran, yes. Iran, yes, definitely. But I think more Ukraine. I think Ukraine, being such a small country, is used as a money laundering, state. And who's really thought about Ukraine before this whole war? No one.
Trump did.
Yeah, Trump did, but most Americans don't even know where Ukraine's at on the map. They can't even point to it.
Isn't that in Arkansas?
Yeah, they can't even point to most countries in Africa, but
they don't even know half the states in their own country, dude. What are you talking about?
Well, it's a continent with countries within.
Well, I'm just saying most Americans don't even know,
yeah,
where Iowa is.
Yeah, that's true. So
Iowa guy.
So the thing is with Ukraine is it was so easy to do that with a country like that kind of had an infrastructure, kind of had this going on. And I think a lot of things, the chickens are going to come home to roost. And Biden's scared right now. I honestly don't think Biden's going to make it through 2023. I'm not saying assassin. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying his age and his medical status. I don't know, dude, if this dude's even going to function.
You mean this version of him?
So but my thing is, do you think they're going to 25 him? Is that what you think?
I think they're going to
No, I'm not 25. It's not that hard.
Yeah, they're going to 25 him.
Okay.
In one way, shape, or the other.
I'm not saying what it is. I'm just saying, are they?
Okay, I was like, what up, the FBI knocking on my window right now? Like,
don't say
we heard you, motherfucker. No, I just don't. I don't see Biden making it through 2023. Honestly,
I don't think so.
Yeah, he might. The Misfit Patriot said he might just dip. He might just dip and just write off and just.
They won't do that. They won't do that yet. They have to keep us distracted with him.
Yeah.
He is the biggest distraction.
That's true. I mean,
yeah.
And I think especially now that the Republicans have power in the House, they're going to need him to do more crazy, stupid stuff, like the singing at the MLK at the funeral. Happy birthday, happy birthday to you. They're going to distract you more with it. Yeah, watch. You're going to see him have a whole, like, you remember back, like in 2021, he was just a gaffe machine.
Mm-hmm.
This year's going to be the same thing.
So
it slowed down in 2022.
Did it?
So here's the thing with them trying to do this in 2023. They would have to do it before all those documents actually got released. That way Kamala would
They're not going to release them.
And Kamala can be like,
They're not going to say anything about him anymore. I'm telling you, you're not going to hear anything. Even if they find more, they're going to say exactly what they said from the podium. We turned them over. There's an investigation. We can't say anything. And you won't hear any more about the investigation. There'll be nothing found. They'll be like, don't worry about it. The documents are handed over and we're good. Really that simple.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a lot harder to do. I mean, in today's world, the political spectrum we live in now is going to be it's going to be a lot harder to do just to sweep that under the carpet these days, because the internet don't miss.
Yeah,
internet don't forget.
The internet can be limited.
Yeah, that's true too.
The internet can be limited, where you don't have anything, any recourse. Okay. Case in point, Julian Assange.
Mm-hmm.
He had all access to everything, and he gave us quite a bit of information. He was a true journalist, right?
Yep.
Where is he now?
Where's he at? UK?
He's an example. He'll die. Right? He'll end up dying in jail. They won't release him.
Yeah, same with Snowden. A lot of people don't like Snowden, but Snowden was out there doing the same thing.
He did what he had to do. He did what he had to do.
Yeah, he did what he had to do, and people didn't like it. But the truth, it finally came out that he was telling the truth.
But what happened? But what happened to the truth?
They make you disappear, man.
What did anybody do with all the info we got on Hillary, all the info we got on Fauci, all the info we got on Clinton's, all the info we got on Bush? What happened to any of them? Nothing. George W. Bush is still walking around free. He cost the lives of 3,000 people.
That's right.
On American soil. He's the biggest domestic terrorist ever.
That's right.
And he's still free. You think Biden with some documents is gonna get arrested? No.
I mean, you look at the CIA documents that dropped about JFK, how they said the CIA actually killed JFK. What's happening? That should be the biggest story in the news right now. They killed a standing president. Shouldn't that be like who was involved? Was Hoover involved? I think Hoover was involved.
Hoover was involved.
Yeah, he was involved. LBJ, he's gone. Hoover's gone. So a lot of these people are gone. But
I mean, right then and there, though, that should be enough for us to actually call for the dismantling of all the three-letter agencies that we have.
It should.
Just on the basis of that. Like, CIA was involved. Okay, then, yeah, let's disband the CIA, and then by proxy, the FBI, NSA. And then while we're at it, FDA, Department of Education, all that stuff, IRS.
Yep.
So
I agree.
But are we?
But what would they, Jay? What would they fall under though? So if we got rid of all those agencies that I think potentially fall under the Department DHS, right?
Or would you get rid of DOJ?
DOJ. So they fall under the Department of Justice. So would you get rid of the Department of Justice also?
Yeah, all of them.
Interesting.
All of them. Okay, so tell me what the DOJ has done independently that would warrant their keeping around. Nothing. Yeah, keep thinking. Nothing.
I mean, I saw a report or like a headline. Maybe I could be wrong, but someone can fact check me on this one. But I saw a headline that said that the DOJ actually said that these documents that they found was nothing more than a nothing burger, and that we will continue investigation. That's about it. But they didn't do anything with it.
That's how it'll be.
They're not. Though.
You have no idea what they found, right?
Let you have some classified documents in your drawer. One document, one page.
I'd be in Guantanamo.
Yeah, they throw you under the jail, but they protect these dudes, man. They're protected. That's it. And the more they're going to start exposing themselves, man. The corruption is going to start exposing themselves. The veil has been lifted. And I keep saying this on my posts on TikTok and Facebook. I'm like, the veil has been lifted. So what you're going to start seeing, a lot more people in the world are seeing behind the veil. They can see the corruption of these politicians. They can see the corruption of these police departments. They can see the corruption of these, three-letter agencies. We're all seeing it. But we don't have the power. So this is why they just brow poke us. And they're just like, you're not going to do anything because we can't do anything. you're going to continue to pay your taxes. If you don't pay your taxes, we're going to do this. If you don't do this, we're going to do this. If you don't do this, we're going to do this. And so they scare you to not talking. What can we do?
They have a well, I'm not talking about the government. People have a dilemma ahead of them. We have, on a governmental front, not a social front, but a governmental front, a decision to make when it comes to our so-called rights to voting. We can either flood the polls or we can vacate the polls. I understand that people think if you don't vote, then you shouldn't have a say and all that stuff. I get it. But I think even if I do vote, I have no say. Like,
That's
even if
true.
I do vote, I don't have a say over what happens. The politicians aren't listening to what the people say. They're not really working for the people anymore. The president is just a ruse. He's a long arm of a political mafia hit unit. And when you do win an election, you don't win the election. So what is the power that I supposedly have? I do believe, however, that the only thing left for sane Americans to do is to retaliate. I don't know exactly how that looks. I mean, I do know exactly how that looks. 15? Does 15 work?
Yeah.
That'll work? Okay. I'm just trying to squeeze in one more little before tonight.
Yeah. 15 will work.
I'm just trying to squeeze one more little.
Yeah, so I was thinking about our podcast about 4 weeks ago, when we had Man of Justice on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we were talking about voting and everything. Our whole discussion was about, how can we get out there and vote? And I think another question came up. It's like, get out there and vote. And, the more I think about it is like, voting really isn't the answer. Defiance is the answer. That's the only answer. The more defiant you are, the more they'll listen.
Squeaky
voting
wheel.
is obedience.
Yep.
Though I believe in voting, don't get me wrong, I do believe in that at a local level, mayor level, and at those levels. That's where it really means a lot. But
Watch
I
somebody
think,
take you out of context.
yeah. So you always got to, you know how we do. You got to make sure people don't take you out of context. But we have to make sure that understand that the only way for these corrupt politicians globally, not just in America, I'm talking about globally, is defiance. Stop listening to them. When they get on the news and tell you to go vote, I'm not going to tell you not to vote, but I'm thinking twice about it now. Because like Marlon said, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what we say. It doesn't matter who we place our vote on. They're going to pick who they want. So it's just, I think it's a way, I think voting is a way to track compliant Americans.
Yeah.
For one, because you go into a system, your ID goes into a system and they're trying to see who voted, and they can track you. If you look online, you can see who voted these last elections. Yep. So it's a way to track compliance. So if we all just said, fuck it, like I said, stop paying taxes, stop voting, stop doing everything. Fuck them. What are they going to do?
Did I hear right that they're trying to put in a bill to abolish the IRS?
Yeah, that's good. But it's not, I don't think it'll get past the Senate, though.
Mm-hmm.
That would be fun.
Maybe. Depending on if you have some moderates in there. It'll get past the Senate.
No, I don't think it'll get past the Senate. I'm just saying it's a nice bill to put forward, though. But I think, like I was saying before about McCarthy, they do that in order to give you the idea that they're for you.
Yeah.
I don't think they really want the IRS abolished.
No.
But I think they have to make us think that they are changing their ways. So they put that bill forward, knowing full well it's not going to pass. But they can later come back and say, we tried. We tried, guys. We tried. I'm sorry, but we tried. That's crazy to me. That they are constantly, okay, we're a free country. We're free to be not free. That's all there. That's the only thing we are. We're the most relegated handled, blocked, beaten down population outside of a third world country.
Yep.
But we call ourselves free. Think about it this way. You can't even mention something that you disagree with without being censored,
Yeah.
harassed,
Ridiculed.
or ridiculed,
Canceled. Yep.
right? You can't even now the white picket fence is done. That white picket fence dream is officially over. You can't make a living the way you want to make a living.
Nope.
You can't.
What did a house cost? So my grandparents grew up during Jim Crow, right? So I was raised by my grandparents. What did a house cost? My mom was born in 56. So let's say my grandmother grew up in the 20s and the 30s. What did a house cost in the 40s compared to now?
Roughly 75K, I think, right?
Yeah. So what is the difference in the land? What is the difference in, what's being used? There's a little difference in some of the products, but now to buy you can buy a 3-bedroom house back then for $75K. Nowadays it's going to cost you $300K. So
Depending
the
on
white
where
picket
it is too.
yeah, it's over. It's a farce.
Well, I mean, you have to blame. I think you have to blame personal habits. One thing, I think we all have to hold ourselves responsible for some of the things and some of the decisions that we make personally. I mean, that can't be like there's this fine line, I think, between personal responsibility and blame shifting. And when it comes to some of the things that we have today, I think that's partly our doing. But like when it comes to the housing stuff, I think a lot of it has to do with market stuff. That's all market stuff.
It's all arbitrary.
Mhm.
It's women fancy of rich people. It's women fancy of a market that you don't participate in hardly ever. You can't, even if you wanted to, you can't sell your house for less than what they say you can.
Mhm.
You get a penalty for underselling your home.
Which is crazy.
If you wanted to, okay, this is what I just recently found out too about cars. In Washington State, did you know you can't gift a car anymore? Did you know that you can't just say, "Oh, I'm giving you this car, and I'll just put a price tag of $1 on it for registration"? You can't do that anymore.
Really?
You have to put a larger amount of money on there and prove it. Prove the transaction before you can do that. That's crazy to me. That is absolutely insane.
But it's your
So
car.
what it's your car. If you're giving it to somebody else, say my kid, and this is trust me, I just went through this recently, right? You can't just hand it off like you used to, write on the little registration gift or gifted.
Right.
Can't do that no more. Not here, not in Washington State. And then you have to pay another $300 on top of that for the registration.
Jeez, what the heck?
Yeah.
That's
It's
insane.
like I said, this whole idea of freedom here, it's freedom to do what I tell you to do.
Yep.
Mhm.
I
It's freedom
agree.
to do what I tell you to do. And I think we need to pull a Haiti.
What do you mean?
That's what I think we need to do, is pull a Haiti.
Revolt. Most Americans would turn their back on you in a heartbeat if something like that happened. Though.
Yeah, that's
Just
true.
know that.
That's true.
Now, for the
Well, if you
ignorant, Marlon, what do you mean by pull a Haiti?
They were the first freedom fighters from slavery.
Ah,
They were the first colony to ever revolt and take out a plantation.
Hmm.
This is how the story back home goes. I know what people read in the books, but this is what had gone around back home. A certain slave, fairly big guy, was being abused by his owner, and in order to keep him compliant, because no amount of beatings slowed him down, he was just consider him the Black Paul Bunyan. Okay.
Mm.
And they killed his wife and kids
Hmm.
to get him to comply. Because they could always hook him up with another female to have more children if they have to get the system keeping going, right?
Mhm.
So he lost it, and with a machete took out every last person on the plantation, including the house ones that look like him.
Mm.
Then he went back, got everybody else from his plantation, moved to the next plantation, did the same thing.
Kind of like Django.
Kind of like Django.
Yeah, I like that. That's what I'm down with. Someone asked here, is even if the freedom is bullshit, freedom's not bullshit. You haven't been in jail. You haven't been in prison. There's some people out there that would beg to differ, darling.
There's two different kinds of freedom in America right now, right?
Mental
Now,
and financial.
I'm not talking about the kind of freedom that most idiots are looking for, which is freedom to do whatever I want. Consequence still exists on the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Whether that be from God or man, consequences still exist. Okay. But I would like to see the kind of freedom where if I want to not sell you a home because you're black, I don't have to sell you the home.
Exactly.
Uh-oh.
You're going to piss some people off.
If I don't want to sell you a home because you're white, I don't have to sell you a home. If I don't want you renting out my home, I don't have to. If I don't have to do, I don't want to have to do anything that I don't want to do.
That's right.
Without penalty. If I want to have a area where only a certain type of people live, I should have that.
That's right.
I also should have the right to decide whether or not my lot is the size I want it. And you don't get to tell me I have to pay a tax after I purchased that land. I purchased it. I don't think government should have a say in any taxes between individuals.
That's right.
If I sell something,
like
I
Venmo,
sell it. Yes.
or PayPal, or Cash App.
Money that's already taxed.
Tax. Yes.
So why is it the government's, why
Business.
is the government involved on a transaction I make with, let's say, Jay Lee, and I bought a bottle of shampoo from him? And he sent me I sent him a Venmo. Why did they need to have their hands in that transaction?
Right. All these things that they put in place, you got to pay a tax on the home you've already paid for.
Taxes on the car you already paid for.
Multiple taxes.
Mm-hmm.
You got to pay tax on the
HOAs.
car, tax on the insurance, tax on everything is a tax.
HOAs are a tax.
Everything.
Yeah.
Linda, you should know by now that I don't care. You should.
And here's where I was getting back to defiance, right?
Mhm.
The minute the majority, let's say 98% of Americans woke up one day and said, fuck the system.
You're done.
We're not paying into it. We're not buying into it. We're not doing anything. Do it for 6 months. Watch it crumble. Watch them beg and plead with you because they need us. But the thing is, we're so compliant that we're so scared that the IRS or the FBI or the CIA or the NSA or the freaking FDA or all these people are to come after us.
The ABC, the DFG.
Yeah, the ABC, DFG, fuck the motherfuckers. They can eat an ass. But I'm sorry. FBI, don't.
Watch the FBI. All you hear. He gets swatted all of a sudden.
Well, shit.
The smile just disappear. The smile just disappear from his face.
Yeah.
He gets tackled out of his chair. The dog starts barking.
Yeah, just know that, defiance is the key, and that's what they're scared of. They don't want a defiant. They don't want a defiant society. They don't want a defiant population. They want a compliant population.
Which is tyranny.
Yes.
It's a Tea Party time.
Exactly. What
it's
do you
Tea
think
Party time.
We fought for millennials and years?
I mean, like the forefathers fought for less. A 2% T tax, and then we went berserk. Now we're what? I make within a tax bracket where I have to pay 22% of my paycheck to the federal government. They sent that money to Ukraine. And here I am going, okay, well, whatever. IRS, all right.
And then when you go to file, they tell you that you owe more.
Yeah.
You haven't paid enough. You owe us a little bit more. No, I don't. I don't owe you anything. Who are you?
See, what I don't get, right? What I don't get is, I was just about to go there. How y'all reading my mind like this? What I don't get is how we went from Clint Eastwood type things to Medea.
Or
In
taking
our
it further,
approach-
Velma, the new Velma.
In our approach to standing up for ourselves. How did we get here? How? Like I don't get it. I don't get how we moved into this vicinity of being run over, roughshotted. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like the America that I learned about and witnessed on TV growing up, not being here. If I were to go back and compare the two, just from and I'm just talking from 1980 on, it's no longer the same America.
No.
Like
This
at all,
is-
in terms of population type, in terms of the strength, it's not there.
This has all been planned, though, man. From the beginning. This isn't nothing new. We just didn't see it as, Gen Xers and, elder millennials. Yeah, we kind of saw it when it came to certain, the war on drugs and moms against drug driving, all these little, global warming, when it first came out, the ice age. They tried it with us, but it didn't work. They tried it with millennials. It worked a little bit, but now they're hitting these Gen Z dudes hard, man, because this is all they do.
I would say they actually succeeded with millennials, because it's the millennials that are raising the Gen Zers who are now in the condition we are. So I think it started with the younger millennials who are now turning like their mid-30s.
Gen X, they can't touch us, man. We're like, fuck that shit.
Well, even then, I would say it's because these millennials. Well, let's just say I think it started with the baby boomers, and then the Gen Xers. They did what they had to do with what they had, because the baby boomers didn't do a whole lot, and then they left the Gen Xers to fend for themselves. The Gen Xers did what they could, and they succeeded, which was kind of sort of a bad trade-off for the millennials, because the millennials didn't learn a thing. And then the millennials, they don't know crap. And then they're teaching, it's the blind leading the blind at this point.
Yeah.
Between millennials
Period.
and Gen Zers. And so you have these Gen Zers who are now walking around thinking that they are owed everything because the millennials handed them this miscongeniality prize. They didn't work for anything. Now here we have the way that they are. Like they're entitled to their coddling and their feelings. They think that their opinions matter more than facts, and their feelings is what drives them. There's no logical thought behind what they say. And then next thing you know, this is why you have, them saying, well, a woman is a woman when they're asked what is a woman. I feel like a woman is a woman. What does that mean? I don't know. It just is. Okay. Here's a cookie.
You know what they are? They're dial-up. They're dial-up. We lived with dial-up, right? We lived with dial-up internet. Y'all know what dial-up internet means. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You start it up, and it takes forever to get a solid answer. And when you do get an answer, the answer doesn't last. It doesn't hold up. And before too long, you drop connection.
Yep.
Yeah, you had to disconnect your phone just to hook up to the internet until they came out with that double connection thing to where your phone was still hooked up. But then when your phone rang, your internet would get
cut out. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
just
that's how a millennial's brain works.
Yeah.
It's dial-up. They are the most connected. There it is.
That's right. I was getting onto the interweb back in my day, man.
I still remember the
mail.
sequence of it.
Someone asked if we're in a emasculation of men. Are we in a dictatorship?
Yes, and yes.
Yes. That's always been their goal, to emasculate men. That's why the whole feminist movement started, was to emasculate men. Not saying that the feminist movement didn't bring out some good aspects of it. Women's voting rights, and when it comes to certain aspects, them be able to work.
They don't need to vote.
The only reason they wanted women to work, let me tell you why. Tax
Taxes.
revenue.
Yeah.
That was it. Women were happy. A lot of women back then. My grandmother was happy being a stay-at-home mom while the man went out and worked every day, brought home the food, and all she had to do was watch a couple kids and cook and make sure things were clean once a week, twice a week, and do some laundry. She didn't have to get up and go out and do anything. They were happy back then. But they, this whole women's voting or this movement when it comes to women working and, all this equal pay, which they do get equal pay, because I know women that make more than a lot of men in certain industries. But it was all tax revenue, man.
Yeah.
Y'all got to understand. It's all about dollars. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. They don't care about you. They never have.
So take your strong and independent women nonsense.
Mm-hmm. Take it.
Because
we
you're a cash
like
cow.
women.
Oh, yeah,
We like women, but
the government said that they're cash cows now, like they can work. So there's your quality for you. We're all equally cash cows.
If I can change the mentality, not the era we're in, but the mentality of a lot of people nowadays, I would go back to like 1980s, 70s, 80s. I would make them think, the struggle train was real back then.
I think a lot of people need to be put back in it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people back, kids working again, learning how to work. Moms teaching daughters how to sew. Moms teaching daughters how to cook. Fathers teaching boys how to change tires and fix your car and
how to build things.
How to handle life and home. How to treat a woman. I think all that needs to come back. But it won't come back.
Nah, we didn't grow up with helicopter. I mean, we can do it as a household level. At a household level, we can try it. But we didn't have helicopter moms and dads back then. You wake up in the morning on a Saturday morning after you went to school all week, it was get up and cut the grass and wash the car. Then once you're done with that, you might be able to go hang out with your friends. And then you better be back before this time. And you didn't have no watch. You just knew what time the street lights came on.
Mm-hmm.
That was your watch.
So you was back, or you had you might have had a watch, but you was back home at a certain time. And if you was going to stay, you call your parents and be like, hey, I'm gonna stay here. They'd be like, all right, because they knew them. Mm-hmm. If you're driving through your neighborhood, everybody knew who you was. You didn't have to worry about nobody kidnapping you or no human trafficker or nobody doing nothing like that, because everybody on that block knew you. Yeah. They knew your parents. And if you did something wrong, that neighbor can whip your ass. Mm-hmm. We've gotten away from that.
And I think that's the key.
Yeah, we don't do that anymore. There's just nothing. We don't
whip
that.
Kids. We hand them prizes for losing.
For screaming loud enough.
Yep.
If you scream loud enough, we live in a squeaky wheel world.
Yeah.
Squeaky wheel gets the most attention. Next week we want to kick off our new ventures we're at what, 400, almost 400 subs right now.
Last time I checked, it was 313.
Okay, let's see.
337 now.
337. Okay. So our goal is to get that 1,000 by the end of March. I think that's easy enough to do once we join Fair Media. So what our goal here is, this is our ultimate goal at Savage Patriots, and I'm pretty sure I'm speaking for all people on the screen here. We need to bring sensible, functional brain run information out there. We need it back. And we need to be able to say our piece, say what we mean, say what we want to say without recourse. The thing about the three of us is this: we don't know what a filter is. We just don't. And I think that's why we work. We don't know what a filter is. If you come sideways, you're going to get put back sideways, and probably even upside down. So we want a platform that we can talk about the political scheme of things from the root level of people going through it, not from a reporter level, not from somebody that just left government, not from we're talking about from grassroots people every day, living the struggle and fighting it out. Mm-hmm. And I think we'll be one of the voices that you probably won't like all the time, but will probably be the voice that you probably think in your head, and we're going to say it out loud. And I think I'm right on the money on that one, or am I wrong?
No, you're
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
You're right.
Yep.
So it's not just politics we'll tackle some other things too, social stuff. We're probably going to harvest a lot of our stuff from TikTok because, believe it or not, people, whether you like it or not, I'm going to tell you this, and it may hurt some feelings. There is more truth tellers on TikTok than on the news.
Mm-hmm.
They may get banned, but when their video drops, before it gets taken down, they drop some dimes, and that's why I think we should really take a little bit heat off, because there's some people on there that really drop some needed information. So we'll be harvesting a lot of our things from TikTok, from Instagram, not from the local news or anything like that, or stuff we go through. And I
Unless
think
the local news actually bolsters what we're saying to expose.
yeah.
the stupidity.
And we'll bring you and it's not like we're trying to say make ourselves like too strong, but the ideal is that when we bring something to you, we have receipts for it.
Yes.
We're gonna bring it to you, and we're gonna show you exactly what it is, how it developed. It'll be news, but not shill news.
Hey, don't forget next month in a couple of weeks, Marlon's turning 46 years old.
Don't forget that. Make sure you forget.
Yeah, don't forget it. Just make sure. Hopefully, our episodes around that time. I think it's going to be close. It's going to be a couple of days before, a couple of days after.
I'm looking right now, and there's no episodes on that day. Thank God.
So yeah,
yeah.
Just give him a big birthday shout out, and
no, don't do that. Don't do that.
You know, the best way to give him a birthday gift is to like, subscribe, and share.
Oh, dang it! That sucks. Guess what day the 8th lands on?
A Monday?
A Wednesday.
Oh, dude.
I feel myself getting sick already.
Dude.
Hey, I'm feeling myself get sick already.
Hey, we're gonna mess with Marlon. Hey, this is gonna be
culminate on that day. Hold on. Let me get a test. Let me get a body test. Yeah, it's saying the 8th of February I'll be sick.
Jay, this is going to be a special birthday episode, so we're gonna mess with him throughout the episode with his birthday.
No, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there it is. I can feel it right now. It says the 8th. It's saying it, so I don't think I'll be there.
It's your pulse.
My pulse. My pulse is saying the 8th. You're sick, and so it might happen. My body doesn't lie to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I trust my body.
So you guys stay tuned for that episode, February 8th. It's his birthday too, so make sure you guys
shut up, DeSoto. Shut up. I'm talking about on Straight Talk. Okay, Straight Talk. It won't stop me from shush.
You got called out.
Hey,
look at that.
Hey,
she just called you out.
How you gonna do that? So I thought we were friends. I thought there was a. Come on, man. I'm talking about Straight Talk. That's different. That's why y'all being like that. That's just wow. Golly gee. I'm gonna drop internet that day too. Y'all are just, man, golly. Sorry I ever thought you guys were my friends.
I just love you, bro. Come on.
Friends had my back, and all of a sudden you tossed me under the bus with my own words. How unfair. How unfair.
It's called accountability.
Oh, dang it. Well, I guess I'm not woke.
No.
I guess I'm not woke.
You know.
That's how I know I'm not woke. I get caught. Any news on whether or not we want to do a Saturday with what's his name?
I'll reach out to him after we get off of here.
I'll
ask him.
I'm down for Saturday.
You're down for perfect. And let's do a Saturday show with Junkie, Few Junkie. Yeah, we'll go through a couple of his videos and break them down.
Yeah, let's do it.
if we can start exacting some revenge on these people, I think we'll be fine. I know vengeance is mine, says the Lord. That's not the kind of revenge I'm talking about. That's a soul-based revenge. We're talking about human here. So, love you guys. What is that question here, Marlon? That clip at the start, Biden talking to Hunter Biden. Hey, pal. Yeah, that's Hunter, his crackheaded son, the methamphetamine addicted.
CP enjoying.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll be back next week, and hopefully by then we'll have a new intro new logo, new crowd. We're gonna get this party
down.
started up in here.
Remember to
So,
like, share, comment, subscribe, y'all. Smash
please
that like
do.
button.
Please do.
Helps
Again,
get the algorithm.
I know you guys say I shouldn't, but you have to understand this is my body behaving. I'm sorry I was late. It will not happen again. Sickness or health, I'll be here. All right. So we'll catch you guys.
It's like
week.
marriage.
It's like a marriage. Marriage.
Yes.
Love, true love. It's what brings us here together today. Love that show. Anyway, we'll catch up next week, Wednesday, if not this Saturday, if we get Mr. Few Junkie on, and we'll talk then. In the meantime, y'all keep safe. We'll catch up. Peace.
Love.